All right, YouTube. Thanks for tuning in to this interview. My name is Spencer Thorn, and this podcast series is going to be all about people's career, how they develop, and how people balance their work life with their recreational or leisure time, and how those kind of play into mental health and overall well being. And so, I'm joined in this episode by a dear friend named Kyle, and he's quite the personality, as you'll see. So I hope you enjoy. We talk about everything from AI to drinking and despair of getting fired and his whole sort of career journey. We talk about WWE and bowling. And so it's a great first episode. And so I hope you guys enjoy. Kyle, you have a career.
I do. I do.
Tell me, what is that? What is it?
Yeah, so the name's Kyle John. I go by KJ now professionally, which I know Spencer will laugh at because he knows me as Kyle and probably thinks KJ is a funny name to go by self, but I do it for the branding.
I get it.
Career wise, yeah, right, exactly. Career wise, you could probably call me a technical consultant from a general perspective because I do have actual expertise in integration. I work in software. So integration tooling, automation tooling, AI tooling. I'm a subject matter expert in that, but I sell it. So I'm actually in the selling motion. I'm not a full-blown account executive, but I'm the next one. So whenever you have like a field tech out when they're selling like, hardware and whatnot, that guy in the software space is what I do professionally.
Okay, so technical consultant.
Yeah,
You've thrown out some different words there, right? So
Mhm.
okay, so you're the product that you're consulting with and trying to sell ultimately
Mhm.
is software.
Mhm.
It includes automation
Yes.
and AI. Is that
Yep.
are those the same thing? Automation and AI, or is that like
Sure, I can
explain
break it
that?
down. I if
Yeah,
I
no,
if I
I'm
can't
interested.
explain it, I don't deserve the job. Yeah.
No, yeah,
So
please.
artificial intelligence, AI, is the umbrella term for any possible thing that isn't just if then else logic. So sentiment analysis. So if I say to you, "Hey dude, what's up?" The sentiment seems positive, or "Hey dude, fuck you," right? Like that's a negative sentiment, right? You get the idea, right? That's
Okay.
sentiment analysis. There's a percentage that's assigned to that. You get the idea. Like that's sentiment analysis is the actual technology, right? It is an AI term because it's artificial intelligence. Then you have things like natural language processing. So saying, "Oh, I need X." When you order something, oh, I process that. Okay, I'm going to click somebody. Like when you order food, right? It's the same type of
Yeah.
example. So
Uh-huh.
those are all actual technologies, automation, so to speak, right? That are artificial intelligence. But I've also worked on things all the way through. We can think about those types of terms
Uh-huh.
to if this, then this, and used low code tooling. I worked at a company called UiPath for a vast majority of my career in this space, right? Where it's just workflow logic that says I need to take data from this place, I need to transform it in this way, if this, and then else do whatever, and then place data where it needs to go. Extract, transform, and load, or ETL, are two terms you'll hear in this. In
Okay.
short, pretty much, I know how to take in pretty much in any freaking context you can think of. If I need to extract data from one place in a software context, transform it, manipulate it, and do some stuff with it, and then place it somewhere else, I can probably walk you through the softwares you have today, whether you should use that today, what some upgrades would be, things to look at that process, and so on and so forth. I would honestly sit here and say, like, certifications aside, I'm actually a subject matter expert in that
Yeah,
specifically.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. Because you've been working in automation like before this AI like
Correct.
monstrosity has taken off, right? And
Correct.
so like I mean, I'm curious of like what's your take on it, right? Because you've got like Elon Musk says we're summoning a demon. You've got Zuckerberg who says like we're gonna AI is gonna replace our girlfriends and relationships. I'm a
Yeah.
therapist, and so there's AI therapy coming out. I mean, I don't know, like, what's your sense about all of this? Because this is really kind of erupted in the
Yeah,
in our current day.
COVID really screwed a lot of things up, to be honest with you. Quarantine, but you know, all of that aside, artificial intelligence doesn't actually scare me as much as the thought leaders of the world and the influencers of the world will make you believe. Because hey, at the end of the day, if you live in the United States of consumerism, if you can get eyes on you, it doesn't matter if it's good or bad press, right? Like if you
The
can monetize it, you have
sensationalism.
the sensationalism, resourcing, and
Yeah.
so on and so forth. So here's what's happened. The technology is very, very real, but at the end of the day, it has to have two things to be true, right? One, it has to have good context, right? And the
Okay.
context is how you use it.
Right.
And two, the data's got to be good. The problem is now, you and I can both agree, like there is so much noise that is just wrong.
Yes.
And your biggest AI algorithms, right? Grok's in that,
Hmm.
ChatGPT's in that, Meta AI is in that, like all of these massive like LLMs that are pretty much just web crawlers across the whatever,
Hmm.
they suck because you have to context the stuff out, well, unless it's like a basic inquiry, right?
Right. Right.
See what I'm saying? So like they suck because they're going to source SEO based information. You got to remember, they're just web crawlers and they can just
It's almost
synthesize information.
they're
Go
almost
ahead.
too much of a generalist. Is that like it's almost so general you have to chip at it, like you have to
Correct.
carve out like the block to get it to
You got it.
the more specific context that you need. Is that what
Understand
you're
why I'm
saying?
a consultant with this? That's right. Yeah, that's
Right.
exactly right, right? Because
Okay.
eventually what and here's why I'm not concerned, right? And you know my stances on like certain things. We've obviously seen it. We have a group thread, right? The whole nine. We don't even
Yeah.
need to talk about any of that. But it's just more like if you don't know how to use that, like it doesn't matter if AI is around you or not. If it contextually is not actually taking away your function. Like here's what I would say. Like if
Mm.
all you can do, like especially if like you're in like a white collar or a desk or an office or like a manufacturing or like something desk oriented, like the physical stuff, you have physical robots, but there's always QA engineers that need to be there in general. Just look at Amazon, right? They
Mhm.
work for start wages, but like there's still people on the ground with the robots, right? There's the harmonious relationship. If all you do is pencil push, I'd be worried. I would be worried about that. But I
For your
also
job's
wouldn't,
sake. Yeah.
yes, but I
Mhm.
wouldn't worry about that in the context of just like, oh, because you probably should have seen that writing on the wall to begin with. And here's the opportunity, right? Remember that context part that I talked about?
Mhm.
The same people who are quote unquote getting automated out of like these jobs, like I think of like where people try to apply it in like a paralegal context or like a, you know, whatever, like that's not going to happen entirely yet. They should be helpers. And the companies that are automating that out, like they suck. And we'll get into that in a second. Right. But
Mhm.
like these individuals, like they have such, they call, like, what's the term? Tribal knowledge, inherent knowledge, just working fabric, like half the time it's like the moms of the team. You know what I mean? Like I'm just trying
Right,
to
right.
generalize that,
I got you.
but they can become like amazing quality assurance people, process improvement, program managers, all of these things. So if you can apply and take their stuff away, there's a lot of
Mm.
things that I bet you these people would have been able to do. The problem is they weren't trained on the resourcing, the education. How do I move up in this? Things are comfortable, life gets in the way,
Sure.
blah blah blah. So you see what I'm saying is like, and companies that are smart now are doing things like that. So it doesn't
Mm.
actually scare me because what's actually happening is that you can't let AI run free either. Because now, what are you going to do? You're going to blame AI? That was a decision that executives made, right? And they've
Right.
already gotten burned by it. So to me, it doesn't actually scare me. If it scares you, I would just be a little reflective and be like, am I incompetent? Because if that answer is yes, well then okay, yeah. But then anything was going to take that over. That's just how
I see.
technology works. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? But
Yes.
if you
Okay.
actually are like, but wait, hold on, like I actually know how we could apply this. You might need to get out of the situation that you're in. But
Mhm.
it's very, but I mean, knowledge is free nowadays. I mean, you could probably GPT yourself like a course. Like you could literally say,
Yeah.
like, what are the steps to learn some things? And if you know how to apply that type of, that's problem solving in the new age. But if you know how to do that, then you apply it to these AI tools. Like I sell AI tooling, but for the most part, like it's just part of Salesforce. So that's the company I work for. But
Right.
it really is just actions of like, oh, this account has 50 opportunities. We should be able to write something that says, summarize all the opportunities for me. What's the logic behind that? Well, grab all open opportunities. How many are open? How many are closed? How many were won? How many were lost? Blah, 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 whatever. That's all just if then else logic baked into the prompt. Like, that's all it's happening. It's not crazy.
Okay.
You see what I'm
So,
saying? Like, it's
we're
not.
right. So Salesforce, right?
Yeah.
Like in your company, Salesforce, how have they like? What have you noticed? Like, what's been the move? Salesforce is a pretty big company. Like,
Mhm.
are they adapting? Are they integrating this new tech
Dude,
as
bro,
kind of
we drink our
GPTs get
own.
better in all of the language model?
Yes.
Like, are you're bringing all that in? Is that
100%. Like, we drink our own Kool-Aid. We use Salesforce. Like, we use it, right? Like,
hmm
so, and I'm in a selling capacity, so we have like out of the box agents. And I know this sounds, ridiculous, and it sounds so fucking
No,
LinkedIn-y, but it's
agents.
true, right?
That's a new buzzword I've heard recently. That's
Agents.
been
So the
coming up more and more.
And we've defined that clear as day. An agent is nothing more than a chat bot that you embed onto a module, so to speak, that has actions behind it that are, go summarize this, go grab this specific information. And then my tooling allows you to customize actions. So you can say, oh, I need to go into my third party system. I need to go to my billing system that's not Salesforce. I need you to search this specific stuff, bring it
hmm
back, and then present it in the agent context.
It,
That's all it
it,
is, dude.
does the agent does the agent break free of the one to one sort of because right now you interact with Chat GPT, you have to prompt it every time you want something back from. Does an agent, can you like go second or third order,
Yes.
like it does multiple things with like one go essentially?
Yes.
Is that
And
kind
that,
of
yes.
the idea?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and now you're thinking of like, it's like Legos, right? You string stuff together. You can work with a bot, so like it can say, like, it's smart enough if you like in the conversation say like, oh, when you're having the conversation, if they're getting to a point where they're asking these three things, just offer this up and then take these actions down the line. Yes,
Mm,
absolutely. Right.
okay.
So this is where I'm saying is like, when you're in, like, when you call customer service and you go 1 2 3 4, if you can create that kind of assembly line in some sort of workflow format because you have a unique identifier, that's AI. That's AI. That's
Okay.
it.
Okay. So okay, because I remember even years ago, Kyle, you showed me, you were automating very simply like RuneScape tasks. Was that
Yeah,
like was that
dude.
was that like the the barbaric form of these
Yeah.
agents nowadays? Like, because
Yes.
I feel like it's getting so much
Yes.
more like the complexities
Yes.
scaling, the intensity, that sort of
The
thing.
complex Yes, the complexity is what's being baked into the large language models that are presenting the information back. Like, you know how, like, is it Glibby or whatever that like does the images?
Yeah, I think that.
That's
Yeah, I think that's
because
right.
the model has been fed that art style, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's able, and it has basic facial recognition and structure and blah blah blah. Right? There's a canvas there. It's like it starts with a stick figure, and then you glibify it, right? Because it's
Yeah.
looked at that art style probably for, like, imagine, like, with us, how much we played RuneScape or how much we played like Rock Band back in the day, or just like it's
hmm
unconscious at a certain point, right? That's how these
Right.
models work. That's all it is. It's just they're just supercomputers because they can operate 24/7, and GPUs are like what you want to run games on, right? So when you
Yeah.
have that, you get the
Mhm.
idea, right? But
Mhm.
it's not actually that complicated to me. The complicated part's the infrastructure, but that's why. But if you were going to do that, you were going to actually be a techie, and then you were going to go work in that space anyway, like I did, right?
Right, yeah.
But you don't have to do that to be benefit from it, right? And
Mhm.
also back to the original thing you said of like why it doesn't concern me. Do you know how many automated shit I see out there now? And it's unbelievable to me because it's worse than it was years ago. I would have expected things to
Mm.
get better. Like, I literally will get like text spams, and half the time I can mess with it to a point that I can get it to admit what model it's using.
That's interesting. Yeah.
So
Okay.
like literally when I get spam calls, robocalls, when I get the text, like you have to give them information. They're just phishing. It's just that's all they're
Right.
doing. So
Right.
I'm like, I'll like text back the text message. I do this a lot just to see what the response is, right? And you can tell immediately one, it's a bot, but two, like the responses are garbage. So I'm like, who's falling for this shit? Right. So that's where
Yeah.
I'm saying is like, if you're falling for it, dude, you honestly deserve to. You deserve to.
Yeah. I
Because,
see. I
because
see.
like
Hmm.
it's and mind you, I know that's elitist to say. I know it's because I work in the space, but like but like, come on, dude. If I get let me read one of these things
Well,
because I have them here.
yeah, yeah. Give me an
Hold
example.
up. I have to give you an example so before I can like say this for real. I gotta find it. Yeah, okay, right here. Here we go. Yeah. New York DMV, mind you, the area like the country code is 63 already. Okay. New York DMV final notice. Enforcement will begin on July 17th. Our records show us that up to today, you still have an outstanding traffic ticket per New York code. Now, mind you, I did get a ticket actually leaving your wedding.
Oh,
we
nice.
got we got a
Well
ticket going
done.
to DC. So
Speeding?
public record. So here we go. So it's good. It's grabbing public record information and trying to create some fear, uncertainty, and doubt, right?
Okay.
But in what universe is a DMV going to text you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know how
I
I
mean,
had to
that's
pay
yeah.
that ticket? I had to mail in a money order. Okay.
Oh
So they're
gosh.
not doing this, right? So they go,
Interesting.
oh, yeah, do this. And then they list out all these steps. It looks great. But then the URL is dmv.ny-tien date/pay.
Yeah.
At
I
a
mean, to
certain
you,
point,
that's just screaming a red flag, but I guess,
but and this is what I'm saying.
in
Older
you know,
generations,
an
if you
old
haven't been exposed
granny
to it,
who has I
eh,
mean, there's they might get
correct.
eaten alive by some of this stuff or,
And
the
that's
deep
where like I
fakes
said, it's
and all of
elitist.
that.
It's like I don't care about it. And yes, I'm with you. And I understand that we grew up in technology. It's easy for me to see. But this is where I'm also saying is that like at a certain point, these people have to help themselves. The information is
Yeah.
free. You can find out literally by just doing two other searches to corroborate the bullshit you see somewhere else if something's fake.
Mhm.
If you're not even willing to explore that path and you get hoodwinked, I think it's on you.
Right, so
Because
what I hear you saying is discernment is a skill. You have
yeah,
to be able to discern,
yes.
what's real, what's AI, and it's
Yes.
almost like you've gamified this in a way where you almost like to kind of see, almost what kind of AI they're
Well, it
really
helps me in
trying
my
to
job.
use. Right, it helps you in your
It helps me
job.
in my job because I can
Mhm,
think through like, okay, what does this do? How did they put that together? I wonder how they grabbed the information to even send this thing to begin with. Like, but I'm always turning like that. But that's because I've been
mhm.
exposed in the space. So like, so what I mean, you can hold me accountable, and you should hold me accountable with what I've said. But like,
Yeah, no, I got you.
but you still have to be able to discern.
Mhm.
Like technology moves, and then humanity has to adapt. It's not like that's
Yes.
ever changed, right? It's
Nope.
just but the .com boom was a thing, but the process behind the technology, which is just
There's always
a
that
process being
tension.
made better, there's a
Yes.
tension, right? But
Mhm.
you have to get out of the tension. And if you live in the tension, you just get left behind. And that's just the way. But that's humanity though. Like I don't
Yes,
think that's any
exactly.
different than
That's part of our
right. Like
existence, yeah. So, okay,
yeah.
Kyle, you're in the technical consulting role, it sounds like you're not fully off into, like, software engineering, like, where you're totally just, like,
Mm-mm,
in, building the software, and you're also not totally, like, in the human resources part. You're you strike this middle balance of, like, working with people, working with the
mhm.
product, right?
Yes.
Is that a fair way to put that?
That's literally
Technology
exactly
consulting.
how that's how people usually describe, especially our role specifically. So if you search sales engineer, solutions consultant, it's literally what we are. So we're usually these, I hate to say it, but these charming, good-looking people
Yeah.
who usually have some sort of technical competence that is superior to peers
Mhm.
but also are like have common sense and can kind of like understand okay on the business side you have this problem and then we can, like, because we've done the work before, like a lot of people in my space, specifically like my role, we come
Mm-hmm.
from either like development backgrounds or testing backgrounds or QA
Mm-hmm.
backgrounds. Very rarely do you see it come from more of like a business oriented role, but it does happen, right? But
Right.
for the
Right.
most part, we were kind of techies. We all play games. We're all
Mm-hmm.
nerds at heart. We all have some sort of quirk. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a persona type, right?
It's an
Um,
archetype. Yeah. Yeah.
it's an archetype.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, if you saw me with my peers, you'd go, oh, he found his people. Like, yes, I did.
Right.
I
Right.
did. Right.
So,
I
so you
did. Right.
you kind of fill the gap between the engineer who might not be able
Hmm.
to translate down all of their technical prowess to the
Hmm.
customer who's just trying to interface with. They don't necessarily need to know what the engineer knows, and to develop
Correct.
it they need to know how to use it, how to function with it. And
Hmm.
that's kind of what your role is
Yeah.
to bridge the understanding of that.
Yeah, the four quadrants, what are they called from like a human psychology perspective? I think you'll probably appreciate this. Like you have drivers, analyticals, expressives, and then amiables, right? I think those are the four.
Oh, I've heard of that. Yes,
You know what
yes,
I'm talking
it's been a
about,
while.
right? Like
Yeah, yep.
anyway, right? If you think about people in like business, finance, whatever, they're usually drivers, right? They like on the spectrum, they shift more driver. Like they're very much,
Mm-hmm.
they want to be in charge, they want to be in control, they want to have all these things, so on and so forth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are your business people. Then you have your analyticals. It's not that techies are just mean assholes. It's just like sometimes they're just more on the spectrum, to be honest with you, and they're
Well, they're
so
more interested
smart.
in things maybe than
Yes,
people.
and the problem that I've noticed as well, which is why like nuance is really really important with like even stances I take sometimes, is because
Mhm.
they want everything to be done right the first time, that anything else bothers them. Like they want immediate change. They want immediate like I've thought about this to the T. I know this is the right answer. This is exactly how you get there. But the analytical doesn't necessarily understand that the driver's a blocker because there's a lot of steps that are there's a lot of minutia, red tape. It just in life that happens, right? Like very
And
rarely
that's
can you
part
just
of
flip a
that's
switch.
the human element, yes.
And
Uh-huh.
now you shift over to those amiable and expressives like someone like myself, who I'm
Mhm.
analytically brained, I'm left brained, but
Mhm.
I'm charming. I was an entertainer. You know me, dude.
Right.
I was the Troy Bolton of fucking Clyde Savannah. Like,
Yeah,
you know
that's
what
a
I
good way
mean?
to
Like,
put it. Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Like, it's
Uh-huh.
what it was. But that's a perfect opportunity for me in the white collar corporate world to be able to go have, dinner with a banker and then also be able to sit on a call with an engineer and figure out exactly what the path of least resistance is to solve the problem, right?
Mhm.
Because I have to understand both worlds, because you can't operate in our role and get paid what we get paid if you're bullshit. You can't do it. Like they sniff you out so
You'll get
fast.
sniffed. Yeah, right. You'll get
You get
called up.
eaten up alive, right? And that's what I'm
Mm.
saying is like subject matter expertise is a big deal. And that's why, like on LinkedIn, I say first thing is I'm gonna tell you the things that I do, and I'm SME in
Mhm.
that. And I guarantee I can prove it, right? But
Yeah.
that's the archetype. We are the
Yes.
most confident, technically sounding business people you'll meet.
Right.
So I don't.
And
So
that's
yeah,
perfect for selling. And that's perfect for, getting those deals and stuff. Um
yep,
so how
yeah.
long how many years have you been at this? I not maybe not
Where I'm
just
at
at
now.
Salesforce, but just in like this whole
Oh
kind of
sure.
tech consulting
I'll
world.
explain everything. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'll explain my whole career and I'll back into where I'm at now. So I started my career at Ernst and Young. EY is what it's called now.
Mm, mhm.
We in the biz, in the big four, sometimes like to call the advisory practice the Mickey Mouse Club of the big four sometimes, just because we were the friendly ones. You know what I mean? Like we weren't the Deloittes of the world. We weren't the PwCs. We were just these like,
Okay.
nice bubbly, whatever, like lollygag. A lot of pretty much EY is a really great it's a great landing spot for people if they were, or a good transition spot if they needed a place to go to like get a new job somewhere else through an existing relationship, like from a contract that's being built. Like that's how
Mhm.
consulting works. Like that's what I mean, dude. Like we're all
What year
fighting
was
on the
that?
ground, and
What
like
year did you start at
that this
EY?
is 2015. So this is what,
2015, yeah.
11, yeah, 10 years ago.
10
So
years
10,
ago.
yeah, so 10 years ago, and I was a lowly staff. I pretty much was just making decks, going through spreadsheets, just the basic, simple stuff. But I found myself into anti-money laundering projects, which were very arduous and monotonous. Like pretty much just look at a suspicious account, figure out what was wrong and report it. Cause there was like an audit that was happening at like every bank from like
Uh,
2016 on. Right. So I
okay.
was part of one of those projects and I was like,
Right.
there's gotta be faster ways to do this shit. So I started teaching myself Visual Basic. So I had like a basic tech management degree, but it was really like a managing information systems with a little bit extra flair. So like because we were
Mm-hmm.
gamers, I knew how to like change the NAT type. So I knew how to log into a router. So I took a networking class, I took SQL classes, like the basic stuff, but I wasn't a
Mm-hmm.
coder. I wasn't a computer science major.
Right.
But I had enough like Java build experience. And I'm like, I can figure this out. So I taught myself Visual Basic, and then I ended up. This was like if you need like a moment in your career, find a way to corroborate with data that you're right and your superiors are wrong, and it'll give you all the motivation in the world to leave the company that you're at. So I'll explain what happened here, how I
Mm.
fell into the technical consultant world. So because I technically was a technology consultant at EY, but I was just a staff who was just being told what to do. Like I
Like a
wasn't
baby
consulting on anything.
consultant, or
Yeah, dude, I wasn't solving
a
problems.
pre.
I wasn't
Yeah. Okay.
I wasn't in there telling the executives like, hey, by the way, like this is how it works. This is what's going on. Like it was pretty much I showed up and I just did what was asked of me, right?
Got you.
So we were on a project and we were just doing like it was called high risk account reviews. And it was pretty much some transaction or a multitude of transactions caused the thing to flag. We need to figure out why. Easy enough, right? It's like someone steals your credit card and going crazy, right? Same type of shit.
Mm-hmm.
I swear to you, it was like one case I reviewed a day was nothing more than someone in their 60s to 80s or 90s dying. The life insurance check cleared and it got pulled.
And that flagged it,
So, and it
or that
flagged
like
it.
that.
So I was sitting, yes, right? You're following me, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
This was considered high risk. I'm like, what is going on? So clearly they just have like a risk profile that's broken. So I
Mm-hmm.
grabbed me and Jigger. He
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
worked on this project with me, right? This is when we became like this. Like
Okay.
this was the time. And then this guy Ben Shapiro, and after we were all just getting beers in the office anyway at like 6. It was such arduous work. We were in Secaucus, New Jersey. There was nothing to do, right? So we're like, let's spend some extra time on this thing. So we literally had all of these Excel files, and remember, I had been learning Visual Basic. So I ended up writing a script, a macro, to loop through all of these Excel files, put all the data into one, and then Ben and Jigger were my lackeys, essentially scrubbing the data and figuring it out. All of that to say, at the end of it, and this was like maybe a few days,
Mm-hmm.
we found out that like 1/3 of all the cases we were reviewing had 2 transactions ranging from like $250,000 to like 2 million, because life insurance policies can be that range.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in and out within like the same day or like within the few days or whatever. And we showed that to the people who were managing the project.
Mm-hmm.
And we said, what type of account are these? And they go, oh, that looks like an old person died. And we said, yes. Why are we charging the client when we have data to probably corroborate this already? We can probably use with a certain level of certainty. This is just a life insurance check clearing. There's no other transactions. We shouldn't review it. And I bet you the Fed would be fine. And
Mm.
this guy he told us, well, KJ, if we do that, we don't need half of you here. And in,
Ooh,
and,
really?
and at that moment I went, well, fuck that. And I left. I just left.
Yeah,
I
that
literally
gives me the ick, as they were.
I flew standby and I said, fuck this place. Go home. I had my manager call me the next week and said, what happened? I explained the situation and they were audibly stunned. And I said, yeah.
So you
So
kind of
I'm
like
gonna wait. I'm gonna
you
wait until I
sniffed
get
that
staffed on
out.
another project. I did. And at that moment, I realized we weren't building a better working world. We were charging an exorbitant amount of money for people to sit in Secaucus to do something that could be automated. And in that moment,
Interesting.
I was like, huh, okay. So then I
There's
got staffed on another project, and sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
no, I was gonna say, did that get your gears turning of like, where else is this? Like, you start sniffing around, looking around for other areas of this sort of thing.
I had been exposed to RPA on another project, but I wasn't involved with the building. I was just doing monitoring QA on top of it. Like it had already been built. We were doing whatever, but I had already
Mhm.
started calling the baby ugly because people weren't building good scripts and whatever. So like I was just fed up at that point. So Jigger actually helped me revamp my resume. And I put myself out on the market. And within a few months, this company called Information Services Group says, "Hey, we want to hire you as an RPA consultant." And I go, "Why?" and they go, "The way you documented that project, because I put that if you go to my LinkedIn, the project where we're doing high risk account reviews, I put it in there where I developed a macro
Mm,
to go through all these things, and we found that I put that project out there. I was like, yo,
sure.
there was money tied to this. I just can't prove it." Right? They go,
Yeah.
"That's enough. We can teach you the tools." So I go to this company for a year. They really needed junior developers, which I wasn't a junior developer. So I kind of got burned by that. But I learned very quickly the problems that people were trying to apply automation to. And I'm like, oh my God,
Mhm.
these are desktop macros. Holy shit. Okay,
Okay.
cool. See what I'm saying? So
Yes.
do that. I do that for a year, and I'll let you. I know you want to say something in a second. I do that for about a year. Realize that I'm kind of better as I need more training in the tools. I don't have enough training to be building these robust automations in the way that you need. I know what needs to be done. I can do the requirements. I can do everything else, but the actual development I need help with. And the company told me, "We can't help you. We're not going to fire you, but we can't help you." And I go, "Okay." So then, just magically, an hour after that conversation, Doug Rosano reaches out to me and says, "Hey, you ever considered being a solutions consultant?" I had just told James, like literally my boss or my manager at the time, I had
Mhm.
just told him, "I want to be doing more requirements gathering. Let me learn the tool so I can be better at this." And he goes, "Yeah, let's chat." So I go, "Hey man, I'm just being completely candid. I just had this convo." He goes, "Oh yeah, that's exactly what we'd hire you to do. You have the development experience. You don't need to harden it. But that's gonna make you already stand out." I go, "What?" They go, "Yeah, imagine just being able to build a minimum viable product like the macro that you built, and then you sell that." I go, "What?"
You're like, "That's a job? I could do that?" Okay.
So professionally, I'll summarize this and obviously let you go, but like
No,
and continue
yeah.
on. But like professionally, the stars aligned. But that was
But
only because I was willing to bet on myself, sit down, and be like, "I know this is right. What the powers that be are saying is wrong. I
mm,
need to work on that." And I've let that chip sit on my shoulder for such a long time that now, and I've been very transparent with y'all, life's really good now. But it's
mhm.
because I've consistently honed that craft and I've
Well,
gotten better at the tools
right, right.
because
Well,
I
I mean,
had
what
to.
what I hear is in that, Kyle, is you followed your heart in a sense. You're like, "Wait, no, this I got this." Like, I know
People told me I was
my boss is
crazy.
telling me, yeah, you had probably people like telling you off,
They were
but
like,
you
You're
followed
like, you're."
through and you documented, like you captured it, right? You
Mhm,
didn't, it wasn't just a thing you did and then you captured it, you brought it into your career and you put it on your LinkedIn, you connected it to who you are and
mhm.
for your career trajectory, right? And then
Yeah,
that gave other people a chance to look on and be like, "Oh wait, let me see what this guy's at." I'm curious about that. That's an interesting, move that you made, right? It kind of like turned heads a little bit.
mhm.
And so that brought you to what came after. You said you worked at that second place for about a year. What came after that?
So the conversation continuing on with Doug,
Mhm.
the role was for UiPath. And I, once again,
Yeah.
stars aligning, right? And I was at UiPath. I followed them Series C to going public. Guys, life changing money. I sold the stock at $43. It's not worth $43 now. I made out like a bandit, right? Once
Yeah.
again, very lucky. A lot of people at startups don't have that opportunity. I
Mhm.
took advantage of everything that was given to me. You know where we come from. I wasn't coming from a bunch of money. I got no trust fund. I like none of
Yeah.
this, right? So I'm like, okay, foundation starts with me. I digress. The role was for UiPath. I had actually been one of the few people at Information Services Group that had learned UiPath. And I thought, I was like, y'all, this is the superior RPA tool. And it's true. I think UiPath owns like 1/3 or like 1/4. I don't know. It's a big number of
Yeah.
all RPA software in the world.
In RPA, real quick, what does that stand for? Just
Robotic
for
process automation, rudimentary AI, essentially. It's just
like
very
like
much.
like the early, yeah, rudimentary agents and AI, that sort of thing.
Remember RuneScape? I automated that with UiPath.
Yes, right. That's what it was. Yes. Okay.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So I get this role and I came in and I had already gone through their training because I went all the way through advanced. I just didn't get the certification, but I
Mhm.
did all their advanced training. I built an automation to prove I could do it. You have to submit your workflow. The workflow has to solve the problem, blah, blah, blah. I passed the practical. So I did that. That was the same thing through the interview process. So when I showed up, I was already teaching people who were in the role how to do their jobs better because I actually knew how to build in the software.
Yeah. What a
But
place
what I
to
needed to
be.
learn, right? What I needed to learn, which was great being at the startup at the time, was how to sell. So I was surrounded by a lot of guys about 15, 20 years older than me who've been slinging software their entire lives. And you know me, dude, I can hang with the old boys club.
Oh
Like
yeah.
uncles, you know me, dude. Like, so I was just like,
Unks, yeah.
I'm like, this is unreal. This is crazy, right? And at that moment, right, salary wise, I've scaled it a crazy amount in 10 years. I think I've 4x my salary since 2015.
Since EY, from now, from yeah.
Well, total earned income. My base is 3x, but like,
Okay, yeah.
okay.
Well, hey, that's
Like,
that's still
okay, right?
substantial. Yeah.
But like now that I'm hanging out with these guys, they're teaching me the meta.
Mhm.
They're teaching me the meta of white collar and
Now you're
money.
really in the lifestyle. Like, now you're
Yeah.
really in the you're swimming with
Yeah.
with that crowd.
Because, and this is something that I always like to tell people, right? When I'm coaching, because I do a lot of enablement, a lot of coaching in this role as well, because I'm a principal level guy at 31. If you know what principal level people are, very rarely are people in their 30s principals unless they like have kissed ass the entire time or like they know someone. You know what I mean? Like I've earned it.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it's once I like learned that, and that was like the path. But how you get there, sorry, right where I was going with that. How you learn that is this term called unconscious competence.
Oh yeah.
And what you know
Oh yeah.
that.
I'm
What does
familiar
that
with that.
mean? You know, dude, whenever you send a
It's
video
essentially
on
flow state. You know,
when your
you
piano videos that you send, when you pick a key and you're like, I'm just gonna play the notes in this because I know I can just riff on it. Unconscious competence, right? Same thing with
yep.
drumming. Oh, I'm listening to something 90 beats per minute. I'm gonna play that in 3, right? Because I can triplet
Mhm.
stuff and then I can right? You know what I'm talking about.
Mhm. Yep.
If you can obtain that in your professional career, you can start paying attention to that stuff. So the climate, when I was bringing up the principal stuff, I was figuring out what the hell I wanted to go with that conversation,
Mhm.
right? When you see the path of what that looks like professionally, and then you work with people who know how to game the system a little bit, when you're actually competent, you can achieve results a lot faster. I
Yeah.
think I got a promotion every year from 2020 on. And my latest role switch. So I did that for 5 years. I was very transparent. Oh, go ahead.
UiPath for 5 years, right? You said
Really
UiPath for
close.
about 4 or 5 years.
Really
Yeah.
close. About 4 years, 11 months. And then I was fired randomly back in 2023. And this is where I got a little too hot for myself. I was
Mm.
really feeling myself. I was pissing a lot of people off because I was listening to my heart, but I forgot to do the important thing, which was trust but verify. I
Mm.
was I was in a role. I had already jumped ship, so I was working in another, like the enterprise side of the business. Think your Fortune, 500 companies and above. That's your enterprise space. I shifted over to the commercial side of the house, which is everything under that, right? Smaller businesses.
Okay.
And I got hired in a role under someone who takes that type of uh, ownership of their role intimidating. Like it's intimidating to them. And I know that for a fact because she got fired. She literally got let go 9 months later after I got fired. So she clearly wasn't going to make it to begin with. So like
Mm.
her leadership style was very fear oriented. It wasn't actually helping the company in any way, shape, or form. And I knew when I took the role, when the sales leads were flying me down to Austin so I could do sales enablement training, I
Mm.
should have probably known that was a problem politically, but I just was
Interesting.
rolling with it. But I was rolling with it because everyone else, my peers, everyone I was working with had nothing but great things to say. But I wasn't helping my boss out.
But because you're saying your supervisor, that woman, it didn't mesh with
No.
her sort of maybe insecure or fear based style,
I,
and
and I
you were
don't
coming at
care.
this with more, with more
I
chutzpah, with
had
more confidence in that.
I had the competence she wanted.
Mm-hmm.
I had the competence that my boss wanted. I had the competence that my
And that can be
boss's
scary. That
boss
could be a
wanted.
scary play. That could be,
And
yeah.
I
Yeah.
was starting to be like, I'm underpaid. I'm supporting a lot of work streams. You got to start doing something. Right. Because I had
Mm.
already kind of gone through this before. And they're like, KJ, you've climbed your salary already so much. What else can we do? I'm like, stop giving me responsibility then.
And they did
These are
not
the
like that.
conversations you have at that level, and they didn't like it at all. They didn't like
Right.
it for one bit, and I should have stayed where I was at. I could have had that conversation with my boy Jared. I'm not using the other name because I don't want to, tarnish anything. Jared and I are
Oh.
really, really tight.
Mhm.
Like he pretty much told me without telling me, I think you're making a mistake by shifting. I really do, and I should have. But here's the thing, though. Now where I'm at, oh my god, I'm so glad I got fired. Right?
Was it a blessing in disguise?
I think so, because
As
what
many
happened
times,
was,
yeah.
right? So I get fired in 2023. Job market hasn't been great for anyone, right?
Mhm.
Within 2 months, I was back based on existing network and competence. Someone I worked with at UiPath was at MuleSoft, said, "Oh my God, KJ got fired. We need to talk to this kid." Stars aligned again. A guy leaves the team I was joining to go to UiPath, hilariously enough, right? So the manager reaches out to me, and this is where I knew I was like, I think I'm gonna like it here. She goes, I looked at your LinkedIn. You're very transparent. I know your whole story. Before we talk further, are you okay? She
Just
said that
checking
to me.
in, uh, with
Justine
your
it was
state.
such a cool, and I was like, Justine, I'm so glad you said that. But yeah, I'm okay. And I went through the whole thing. I was like, I drank myself into an oblivion last month. I've been going through a lot of stuff, but I think I'm ready to have a conversation and be civil and do whatever. And I walked her through the whole thing that happened. And some people would say that's crazy.
Well,
I did it.
wait,
And
that that
she,
that get
she called.
I wanna jump in
Go
on
ahead,
that.
please.
So what happened to you mentally when you did get fired? Like,
Oh
what was
my
the aftermath of that? Can you speak to
dude,
a little bit of that?
of course, dude. It's a great fucking story. It's like literally no joke, no joke. Like they knew we were trying to have Marlena, right? We already had Maverick.
Yeah, right.
We knew we were trying to have Marlena, right? We want to try and do 2 under 2. So I get fired Tuesday. Wednesday, the next day, she comes down with a positive pregnancy test.
Oh my gosh.
She doesn't
Oh,
work, dude. Like professionally,
well,
obviously taking care of kids is like a job in
well,
itself.
right,
But like
and this is your
she,
wife we're talking
yeah,
about.
yes, I'm talking about my
Sure,
wife. Yes, I'm talking about
she's
my
a
wife. Yeah,
stay-at-home,
yeah.
she's a stay-at-home mom at this point.
Because we had already decided, hey, we want to do the nuclear family. This is the way we want to be able to commit to it. We made sure that financially our bases were covered. Nowhere in that plan did we think I was actually going to get fired because they had just promoted me the month before,
Mhm. Wow.
right? Dude, I should have sued. I really should have. I really should have lawyered up. I was just scared because back to the mental state,
Mhm.
dude, I just went from a lot of money to no money. Fortunately,
Yeah, that's a
I had it saved.
whirlwind. Just of
So if
uncertainty. Yeah.
oh my god, it was like literally. So I spent the week to like. You can still hear me, right?
Oh yeah, I
Is
got
that
you.
coming through fine?
Oh yeah, you
It
sound
sounds
great.
good. I just want to be sure. Okay, I just was like, okay. Anyway, yeah. So doing that, and I mean, dude, you know me, my propensity to drink, dude, it was bad. It was bad.
So
That
your
I
drinking increased.
Yeah, tremendous because I was just blocking it out. I was just
Mm,
blocking it out. And I
mhm.
gave myself like a week to do that. It turned into like a month. And
Mm, as yeah.
it sent me down a not a dark path because obviously like I was very put together. I was still able to be with the but I was hazy. I was
Mhm.
hazy a lot because I was also high a lot too,
Sure.
like to an amount that wasn't conducive to something like this, where like I could sit here at 10 and 11 and have a conversation, whatever, right? Um,
You were
the uncertain,
cross-faded, as the kids would say.
yeah,
Mhm.
yes, crossed, yes, it was very crossed, but like it was really tough. It was really, really hard. And I think one of the best things I did was there was also this guy I happened to end up following on LinkedIn who deals with this sort of thing. He actually helps you get severance. Like he's not a lawyer, but like what he does is he helps you frame a case, send something before you need to go talk. And he has connections to lawyers, so he's like, hey, if this is a really serious thing, I can push you straight to this, right? And I paid the
Mm.
money to talk to him. I paid the money to draft something up. The actual write up of what I planned and what I did ultimately send back to UiPath pleading for something, right, was so cathartic. It
Mm.
was
Just
unreal.
just going through that process kind of was
Yeah,
therapeutic in that sense.
it was. Yeah. And like people talk about all the time, like when you need to cope with things, right? I mean, you're a therapist, right? Like, and a counselor, right? Like
Absolutely.
you
Absolutely.
understand
Yeah.
that's a coping mechanism is like, hey, by the way, like you feel a certain way, write that shit out and then throw it out or whatever, like whatever it is, right? Like,
Yes,
but,
absolutely.
but going through the process, reading it back, hearing how it sounds to you, going through that, eventually you've said it enough that it becomes, okay, this happened. Now we got to move on. So
Mhm.
by the time my
It helped
birthday
you it
rolled
helped
around,
you accept reality, is what
by
you're
the
saying.
time my birthday rolled around, I gave myself the bender because my buddy Cormac was getting married. So he had his bachelor party. So I was still unemployed at the time, but I gave myself the fun. And
Mhm.
then when I came
Okay.
back, I was fucking exhausted. And I go, okay, let's get to work. And November rolls around and it was like a week turnaround to go back to Salesforce. Now, mind you, I don't think it's because of the bender or anything like that, but it was, I went through all of the stages of grief like very, very quickly. Right.
Yeah. Right.
Like I went through it
You speed ran that.
because I was like, look, okay, like you've got money saved. You're not, you have a house. So, worst case, you sell this, go live at home, right? Like you've got family. It's not like this is the end of the world, so to speak. So, we had runway, right? But it was
Mhm.
still scary. But I let myself feel it. I did it for longer than I probably should have, but then I started to understand it, cope, accept it. And then I just and now it becomes something that I tell in stories like this, and people go, "Wow, holy crap!" And I was like, "Yeah." The biggest thing was at the end of the day, like what propelled me through, probably like if it was me on my own, I don't think I would have been able to do it. But because I had a family to take care of, I went, "You got to do this. You got to do it."
That was my next question, was like what was motivating you? Like what did what kind of
The
things did you
kids,
lean on to
the
drive
kids,
you to not give up or go even darker, down the hole? Your kids.
the kids. It's you don't know what love is until you get married to the right person, and then when you see your child you understand why you don't love your wife anymore, right? Like you get you get it, like it just you immediately understand, right? And then you have the second
Right.
one, your daughter, right? If you're a dad, right? And then you're just like, okay, Mav, you suck, Marlena, you're the best, right? It all facetiousness aside,
Yes.
them like
Mm.
them actual like you're their world, just like a dog, right? But you're their world. You're everything to them. And for me, and my situation, like growing up, it's not like I had the best thing in the world. They got me through school and got me to this point. So, congratulations, mom and dad,
Mhm.
Kyle and Ann, you guys are great, right? But it's not like they were the best parents in the world. Like there were things they
Right.
could have done for me that were a little bit better, but I don't blame them because they were dealing with their own problems, right? So
Mhm.
I, in that moment, had an opportunity to be like, do I continue the cycle or do I break the cycle? And something that I even talk to like people who are like newer parents as well. They go, what's the advice? I'm like, don't unpack your trauma on your kids.
Mm.
Don't do
I think
that.
that yeah. I think that's
And
powerful.
and it happens all the fucking time, even with
Oh,
us.
dude. Oh,
Like,
dude. Dude, trust me, I know. I've worked with children in the therapeutic sense, like
yeah, dude. And but it
the
happens all the time.
generational
It's
generational
awful. It's
trauma. It's
awful.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
and that's where it's like, I always, like I'm saying, I always like, I try to give very practical advice to people. I go, I don't care if you love the person you're going to marry or not, but just make sure you're emotionally aware of it.
Mm.
Like, just do that. Because if you have the emotional intelligence to understand your selfish natures and your selfish tendencies and who you are, like unequivocally, you're going to make the change if you want to be a decent parent. If
Yeah.
you do, right? Because it's just natural.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a like, oh, you can read as many books as you want. Nothing is going to prepare you for how you feel when you see like your baby and you go, well, that looks weird. Oh, I get it. And then they start acting like you. And then they start talking like you. Like Maverick's dropping the F-bomb now, and it's hilarious. Like it's funny, right? Like
Hmm.
all the
I wonder where he
all
picked
the
that up.
I wonder, couldn't possibly be me, right? But like those are just instances of just the actual, like literally I would throw Jenna in front of a fucking train to save my kids. You know what I mean? Like
Mm,
it's
mhm.
the Ryan Reynolds
And
thing
I'm
when he
sure
said that
she would
about Blake.
agree. I'm sure she would do the same.
Absolutely.
The
Of
reverse is
course,
true as
right?
well. Yeah.
Because it's at this point our love that Jenna and I have together, which we do work on, by the way, that is a thing. And we can talk about that if you want. But like you put it to the side. You just do
Hmm.
it for them. And you're one team, you're one unit, you're gonna piss each other off, you're gonna say things that they don't like, whatever. But as long as you two are emotionally aware of that. So all that to say,
No,
that's
I
why.
think that's
Yeah.
you highlight a great point, and that's a lot of counseling and therapy is helping people become more aware of the underlying emotions and
Yeah, you don't
dynamics
go to
that's going
therapy
on.
and fix the fact that you're an asshole. Like you
Well,
can't do that.
well,
Like,
well, dude, if you can at least be aware of, if you can at least admit and accept that maybe you are an
yeah,
asshole, and you could
I
choose
am.
to be that.
Yes.
But that's the key,
Yes.
is to bring
Correct.
it to conscious awareness, so then you're able to choose, and that's the
Yes.
most honest stance towards things,
Yes.
you know.
Yes. And it's easy for me to like turn it on in a professional sense because I think I'm actually very naive as a human, to be honest with you. Like I am very trusting. Like I assume all
Mm,
humans are good. Right? So I have no reason to have like disdain like I would with like Geo, for example, when he says some nonsense in the chat, right? That I want to, whatever. But that's because he was one of my best friends, right? Growing up.
mhm.
Like we went through some traumatic shit together ourselves, right? So like
Sure.
I'm going to challenge that more, but that's because I know I can turn that on because I know I'm not going to lose social points, right? Like in The Sims, right? You want to keep your shit high in the green, right? It's the
Yes.
same deal. I have no reason to do that to a complete stranger. I have no reason to do
Mhm,
that professionally, right? Because
mhm,
I'm thinking people are genuinely good. Like even incompetent people nowadays don't bother me nearly as much as they used to, right?
mhm.
But that didn't flip until the kids. They were
Wow.
honestly probably a little bit of like the counseling I needed. I was very angry. I've always been very angry. You know that.
Mhm.
I think I harnessed it well, but I was always angry, right? And
Yeah.
I was really just angry at the fact that I just didn't have what I'm gonna be able to provide to my kids. I just wanted my dad.
Angsty. I
I was
always thought
angsty. Yeah,
angsty was a way to
yeah, like
describe you.
yeah, because I was put together. Like there's no way I would have been in all these positions and been able to do all the things that I did if I couldn't keep it together. But it's always a
Mm,
piece of feedback. It's like, oh, you're always too much. You're always this. Blah. It's like, shut up. That's just me, right? But now as I get older, I can harness that more, and I've stopped drinking
yeah.
as much, right? Which is great, and that helps a lot. Holy shit, dude!
It
Boozing
it
up regularly it kills your like ability to consciously think through this shit because you snap so
Mhm.
fast. And I'm like, now it's like Wednesday nights. Like I drink on Wednesday nights, and then I come home and I'll have a few. But we don't even buy booze in the house anymore. It's just not. We just don't buy it at the grocery store. We only do it for parties, like when I go places, and that's it. And it's
Right.
it that
How
little trick.
liberating that is. You don't
Holy
have to
fuck!
rely
Yes.
on alcohol. It's like,
No.
wow, my life is whole without that.
Dude, I'm drinking a diet soda. I'm stone cold sober right now. You know what I mean? Like it's but it's
Nice.
great, but it's great, right? In the sense
Mhm.
of like it is in I won't say booze is the killer because people have vices, but like at the end of the day, like I wouldn't be able to even walk through this entire conversation if I wasn't completely aware of how I think, why I think the way that I do, and understand that there are times where I'm gonna snap, I'm gonna flip, I'm gonna whatever. But if you can recognize and rectify, That's the best you can do. Humans are fickle. Emotions or whatever. If you're tired, like if we're tired, oh my God, forget it. Jen and I are
Mm-hmm.
just yelling at each other in the morning. We're just saying quips, just chirping each other. And then an hour later, we give each other a kiss. We're like, yeah, that was dumb. Yeah, okay, cool. All right. Like
Mm-hmm.
very simple, like,
Yep.
but emotional intelligence. I would say that's probably like, if anyone was like, what's the advice to give? Be emotionally aware. Oh my God.
Yeah. It's something
That's it, dude.
in something there's this whole idea of, men struggle with emotions and things like that. And I really like working with men to show them that, and this is part of emotional intelligence, is
Sure.
emotions have functions, and you can
Hmm.
learn to work with your emotions instead
Hmm.
of repressing and like colliding with them and like letting them
Hmm.
kind of just rattle you can kind of learn to surf those waves
Yeah.
and roll with it and flow with it instead of it getting all knotted up and bunched up inside of you.
Hmm.
um so okay, that was awesome. Thank you for that kind of career section. I want to pivot of like, what do you do for fun? I really love the phrase work hard, play hard.
I
Like
play
I
harder for
really
sure.
no, I think both are key. I think
They are. They are. Yes.
living a life of contrast. I think they help each other. If you
Hmm.
can, you work hard, you put in a good day's work, you're able to play without guilt. You're able to have fun,
Oh,
enjoy things.
I'm looking
And
at
then
my
that
work
and that
email right
that comes
now. Just whatever.
to like refresh your ability to work hard, right? i
Hmm.
think I think they help support each other. And so
I agree.
what do you do as a tech consultant? Like, do you give your eyes a break? Like, what do you do for fun to like kind of balance out this lifestyle that your work gives you?
Sure. So now it's pretty much after work. I hang out with the family for a few hours, naturally,
Mm-hmm.
because we have dinner and then we just hang out with the kids until they go to sleep. Right. So that's what fun was. Before that, it was honestly video games. Right. It was just easy for me to do. Working out usually. I worked out more pre-kids for sure. I know you can commit the time, but I don't want to wake up at 6, so I'll just deal with the little fat pack I got. Leave me alone. I don't care. I can still run a 5K, right? Like, you know what I mean? But like that's what fun would have
Right,
been. But I still
right.
try to, get as active as much as I can. I ran this week. So trying to stay active. We'll go on hikes. We travel all the time. You see us like literally like every other time we're taking a flight with the kids, just going,
Mm-hmm.
seeing friends, doing whatever. We were always popular, right? So we always have a reason to go. We always go back to, Rochester. You get the idea.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really just more family stuff would probably be my number one time spent. However, the hobbies that I have specifically is really what you want to get to. And I think the bowling one's actually a good one is I love pro wrestling. I was a theater kid. It's the perfect combination of just athleticism and theater out
Mm.
there. It to me, I like
Pro,
the
pro wrestling.
pro wrestling, not amateur, not the MMA. It's owned by the same company, but the
Mm.
fake stuff, the scripted stuff. I
Yes.
love that stuff because, right, of like I said, I was a 3-sport athlete, played football, played basketball, so played contact sports, so I understand wanting to do that. I'm a metalhead, so I go to rock shows on occasion, of course, right? So getting in a
Mm-hmm.
mosh pit doesn't bother me at all. Plus, like I can always hold my own because it's not like I lost the muscle. Like it's kind of
Yeah.
like, and also when you have a kid, you gain like 25% strength. I swear to God, that strength is real. Holding a kid like this just makes you ridiculously strong. I can do curls that I could never do in school. Like it's
Wow.
crazy. Yeah,
That's
it's nuts.
funny.
Anyway, but like the competitive nature of that, I love the theater aspects of it. And another podcast that I do is with my wrestling buddies. We were talking about that before.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We just sit down and just
What's the
drink and
name of
talk
that
about.
show? What's the name
It's
of
called
that podcast?
the Tribalism Chiefs because there's this tribalistic war going on between AEW and WWE. We lean into that, but we're like
Okay.
we're all fans. Like we're all friends, right? So, but we do that. So I watch that not all the time. Like half the time I'll catch clips because I'm like it's already like 9:30, and we play like Mario Party with our friends on Tuesdays, and I bowl on Wednesdays, which I'll get to in a second. But that is my hobby. So like you ask me what TV show I'm watching, it's that. You ask me what
Yeah.
movies I'm watching, it's that. Like I don't watch anything else. Like if Jenna wants to watch a movie, I'll watch a movie. If someone wants to go to the movies, I'll watch a movie. Otherwise, that's my
But you
TV.
default to wrestling if
Yes.
nothing else is
Yes,
stopping
dude.
you.
Because it's on every night. I can find something to watch every day, right? So which is really
Right.
cool. So being a wrestling fan is really nice because now a bunch of promotions have TV time, right? Like you can find different. It's very very cool. But the hobby that go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna, so in just to stay on wrestling for a sec, and we've talked about this before. You don't the fact that it's fake doesn't bother you. That's like part
No,
of the understanding. That's part
it's
of
a
just,
show.
just like theater, right? It's a show, and
The
because
show, yes.
you hear people that like, why would why do you watch wrestling? It's fake. It's obviously fake, and it's
Why
like,
do you watch a
but
cartoon? Like what?
right,
Like
no,
what?
right, right, and that's the way you think of like that. You lean into
Yes.
that, like
Correct.
that's part of the appeal. Actually, is that it is
Yes.
scripted, and that adds
Correct.
another the whole theatrics and the way that they come about it and deliver their it's
Here's the I can make this real, right? I like wrestling because there are moments, and usually a little booze and weed helps with this. Sure.
sure.
But there are moments where I feel like a kid again and think it's real.
Mm,
Not the wrestling part, but the stuff they do. Like
the
maybe it's
story.
the way they infuse the story, and like maybe he's about to get hit with like they're about to like really like throw him off something, or they said something in a backstage. Like I remember like this was really cool. Like The Rock came back last year
Right.
and beat up Cody Rhodes, but not just like beat up. They did an overrun on SmackDown, and The Rock beat the shit out of this guy. Like whipped him with his weight belt, slashed his forehead open, rubbed it on the bus, took the blood, and like The Rock did this. And I went, whoa, okay, that's cool. In that moment when you're watching it, because you're on an overrun, you're like, wait a minute, is he actually like they should be off the air? What's like little things like that, right? Where
Mm-hmm,
they play
mm-hmm.
into it and they make you suspend disbelief for like that moment. That's what I watch it for
I
because it
see.
brings me
Yeah.
that nostalgia factor, right? Like, and it's like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's cool. But then I can sit back and be like, okay, this is what I'm watching. I'll pay attention next week because I want to see what happens. You know what I mean? Because it's just like any
Right.
other show that you watch, right? You always want to see what's going on. It's like that's like saying American Horror Story is not real, guys. Like, why do you watch it? That duh. Like, come
It's for
on.
the art.
Just
It's for the
it's the
theater of
art.
it.
It's a
The
story, right?
story.
So,
Yeah.
but those moments are really, really cool. And what's also nice is that because it's real and they're real humans, like let's say, for example, like we Liv Morgan, I remember she was entering the Money in the Bank match, which is pretty much it's a ladder match. If you get the briefcase, you can cash in the year that you get it. When she came out, she was crying. She couldn't contain the fact. So she gave away that she was going to win.
Oh,
Everyone
interesting.
but everyone loved it
Mm.
because we knew it was her time. And then knowing that the person, Liv Morgan, right, I forget what
Mm.
her real name is, got to achieve something that she worked for and has worked for and is finally given the moment to then have her cash in that night and become champion. As a fan, we were just happy for her.
Right. Okay. That's interesting.
Because it's
Right. So that's really
because it's
raw. That's raw. No pun intended. Like that's authentic.
you see what I mean? Is like
Yeah.
it's still it's a story. They
There's
gave
still
it
a
to us.
person
They
behind the
produced it,
character.
but but the person's right in front of you.
Mm.
That's like someone who I don't know, like let's say they're trying to get on Broadway and they finally like they're an understudy and they get the moment. It's the same type of deal.
Mm.
So when I can
Mm-hmm.
apply that context, and all of us real wrestling fans, we do that. So when someone's not getting pushed and whatever, we get frustrated because we're like, hey, we want to see this person on TV. We want to see what's going on, blah, blah, blah. But then there's politics in that and the whole nine. So it's really cool to watch it because I also understand like the political bullshit that happens in companies of that size. But then
Mm-hmm.
I also am like still like for the wrestlers, I'm like, I it's great. Like when you see like younger tag teams on like AEW, for example, and they get like a win over like the Young Bucks, we're always super happy because we're like, okay, they're gonna be on TV for a while. This is cool. This is fun. It's
Mm.
great. Other times sometimes you watch these matches and they're just classics. Like in the ring. Like they're like everyone talks about like Hulk Hogan when he died, rest in peace, right? Like
Yes.
Hulk versus Andre. People know that match. Why? It's a fucking classic. It was the first time
Right.
they met at WrestleMania. Like sometimes they just set the stage up so well that all they got to do
Mm-hmm.
is just show up, do a few moves, and we're gonna believe everything, right?
Yeah.
And
It sucks you right
that's
in.
That's the beauty of the art form, because I allow it to happen. If you're going in and you think it's stupid because it's men in tights, which is completely fair, then it's not for you.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No,
That's it.
okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do know bowling, and you've
Mhm.
hinted at this. Bowling is kind of a big part of your leisure life, your recreation, kind of life outside
It's
of work.
important. It's very
It's,
important to me. It is
yeah,
actually unreal important to me. Yeah.
what has bowling given you? Like, what does that do for you?
Well, it's my government mandated leave the house time, mainly because I work from home, right? So I leave when we go to the store and blah blah blah. But I don't
Mm-hmm.
go to the office, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what has happened is that we moved to a new city. You moved to a new city, right? You got to make new friends, got to set up new relationships, whatever the case may be. And it's also something that I did growing up. So from I think like 6 to like 14, maybe before I started playing like JV sports, I would go with like Ann and I would go when I wasn't playing, like when I didn't have like a basketball game during that time. Like we would go to Auburn every Saturday morning, and I bowled in a league because she
Mm.
bowled in a league, and my uncles bowled in a league, and my grandfather bowled in a league. All the O'Donnells, bunch of Irish Catholics, Irish Catholic bowling, all the same.
Okay.
It's a perfect circle. There's no Venn diagram. If you're Irish and Catholic, you bowl. Like it's just the way it is,
I've
right?
gotcha.
So I did that. So it's a nostalgia chase a little bit. I
Okay.
didn't do it from 14 on. Always had a bowling ball, whenever, whatever. Got fitted for a ball when I was like 27, I think, maybe 26, 27. Went upstairs, got a league, and I wanted to try it. Just wanted to
Mm-hmm.
whatever. I had met some people before. I said, hey, let's do this bowling league together. What it's turned into is something that I actually look forward to every single week. I have my bowling team is a bunch of people that I met at the bowling league. I have made actual friends where I've gone to their houses
Mm-hmm.
with the people that I've met at the bowling league. It is something that I've also learned that you can make recreation competitive for yourself, just like how we talk about like with tennis a little bit, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
you can if the person you're playing is just better, you're probably going to get beat. I needed to learn that a lot sooner when I was playing you because you were just fucking great. But because I was decent enough growing up, I've learned to apply discipline and rigor to my own bowling strategy. Like I'm
Mm.
carrying now like a very respectable average. Like my summer league isn't great because it's an unsanctioned league, so it just runs all year. So it's
Yeah.
just they have 3 different seasons, but I'll carry usually anywhere from a 210 to a 220 average,
That's up there.
which
I
is
mean,
pretty much like old heads who like bowl at the same house for like 30, 40 years. They have like 230s, 235,
yeah.
right? So I'm already on the path to get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's been really, really cool to find a great vibe, great atmosphere, good people that I enjoy spending time with, right? That I
Mhm.
also, by the way, don't feel guilty leaving, because Jen and I have communicated this. She has ice hockey. She plays them in a men's league. She plays in a beer
Mhm.
league, right? So it's not like I'm trading off and leaving her at home, like, because I do the same. Like she does the same thing to me. Um,
Right, yeah,
but all
that's
that
kind of like your guys' outlet out,
correct.
you go venture out into the
It's our way to
world, and
get
then
away.
you come back.
It's our way
Obviously,
to get away.
you
Yeah,
come back in.
of
And
course.
so
Yeah.
the bowling, it's about, it's about, like you said, kind of like a personal challenge, and like, so it's got that element to it, but it's also
Hmm.
got that social element, right? The
Oh, dude,
camaraderie, the league,
the like you'll.
the banter. I mean, I can only imagine.
It's literally, dude, Spencer, no joke. I've also like, and this is maybe it's too much, maybe it's not, but like it's turned into like my team and the people I bowl with are usually the people who smoke pot, right?
Okay.
So before we start, we go, all right, so we need to have a team meeting, right? So we all go out, we pack one. It's like it's us and like another team, like whoever the hell decides to show up. And it's just all of us, just a circle, like 8 to 10 of us, just do
Your
quick in
ritual.
and out. Yeah, the ritual, 5 minutes in and out, boom, right? So when you talk about like the banter, the whatever, you find your tribe, you find your people, and it's been
Mhm.
really, really cool that I found the people that I can associate with. We do talk professional stuff, like it's not just a bunch of like losers, right? We all have very decent jobs. We all like very well put together, right? So it's cool. Beers are cheap, bowling's cheap, great atmosphere for that, and it's just a vibe. But to your
Mhm.
point, I do a lot. I allow myself to try and get better at it. But yeah, the tribe, the environment, the atmosphere, the whole nine.
Yes.
that to me is very crucial, because I think, like, there's a spectrum of this, of course, but humans are naturally, like, they need some sort of physical interaction or some sort of human connection of some way, shape, or form. I think you can achieve it through virtual means. I don't think it needs to be a physical touch as much. I think that depends on the person. Um, but I'm extroverted. That gives me such a release in one day that I've learned to curate, because I talk to people regularly in my day to day. I'm always
Mm-hmm.
on Zoom calls, meet calls, whatever. I have a family, so I'm always associated with them. We go out to dinner regularly. We see our friends. We're always doing something on the weekends. But that allows me to do it without the context of everything. I can just be me.
Um, yeah, I think that's a good point. And you recognize that, like, yeah, you're an extrovert. That's part of your nature. Is
Mm-hmm.
you kind of would go probably stir crazy if you didn't, if you didn't allow yourself to find that
It's what
outlet.
pushed me to go do this to begin with.
It's like it's part of your nature, and like that's
Extroversion,
you
yes,
you have
yes.
to know that about yourself
Oh yeah. Once
to
again,
to
know
make those
yourself.
choices.
And it pushed me down that path, because I needed to do something, right? Because she's been doing beer league for ever since we pretty much moved here, because we did the
Hmm.
travel league for a bit, and then I was like, why are we paying all the money to travel? Like, you don't hang out with the girls afterwards. We're just paying to go sit in a hotel room. That's stupid. Like, you can play with these girls at nationals if you want. She's like, yeah, okay, cool. And then she ended up joining the men's league with Minnie, who was on her team. She's been on that since, like, I don't know, 2017, something like that. Like, long time. Right. So
Hmm.
she already had the thing. It wasn't jealousy, but it was just more like, I should probably do something for myself. Right. Because she was getting that outlet. She was getting
Well,
that
because
release.
she was, yeah, I think that was smart from her. She was wise to do that,
Mm-hmm.
and so you followed suit.
She was she was also going to do it anyway. Come on. Jenna runs everything in our relationship. Like, that's never changed. Like,
No, I got you. Um, and so, so do you think that, having the wrestling thing, having the bowling, does that actually come to help fight against like burnout, from your job?
yes.
Like, because yeah, like you said, you work from home, technical consultant, you can, it can be very techy and screeny and digital, you know, engaging
Oh,
probably
yeah.
outside of that and getting out of this room that that you're probably, you
Not
work
looking
a
at
lot
my
of times.
phone, not
Right.
staring at a computer. Absolutely. Oh,
That
my
probably
God.
adds
Yes.
just the
No
right
question.
the contrast
Yeah.
to keep things like
Mm-hmm. I would say so.
recouped and refresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'd say so. Yeah.
I'm interested in how people construct the career and leisure, the career, that sort of setup for themselves. I'm really
Mhm.
curious about how people do that, because I think it's important for people to hear, different careers and different
I've
trajectories.
never walked through it that way before. Like, the way
And
you helped me, like, go
yeah.
through it. Like, I've never actually done that. I've done that with people on my own show, but I've
Hmm.
never actually gone through the introspective deep like that. So thank you for that. Yeah.
Of course.
I
Yeah.
think
Well,
people
that's
should hear stuff like that. Yeah, it's the
right.
mindset. Yeah, the
Hmm.
mindset of how do people get to where they're at. And I know I have a
Right.
good story to tell. Yeah, so thank
Hmm.
you.
And well, and that's why I thought of you would be a perfect one to kind of start this series off. And I hope to, we'll probably do, some episodes in the future as well.
Mhm,
But do you have, okay, so you also do your own like we said, the
mhm.
wrestling podcast. You have another project you work on.
I do. Project is a
It,
good term to use. That's a great way to describe it. Yes.
is it Kate Corner? Am I
It's called
right?
KJ's Corner. Yeah, I'm actually working through right now. I just got an email from the trademark office. They go, "You need to show us you using the thing." I go, "I gave you my podcast link. Like, what else do you need?" But they need like a screenshot for their whatever. But yeah, so it was when I got, not when I got fired, when I had Maverick the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the first child, so the first kid, not the first time. We didn't have Maverick twice. That'd be really weird. Anyway, I've been very blessed with working at software companies. I ended up getting like 20 something weeks off from UiPath when I
Mm.
had Maverick. So I just had time. We were sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
We watched Game of Thrones for the first time. That was great. I'm really glad we did that. I'm really pissed at the last season, but I'm glad we watched Game of Thrones. But I had so much time. So I found myself getting more active on LinkedIn. And then this woman, Aaliyah Olds, reached out to me. She was starting a I'm Breaking Into Tech community. And
Mm-hmm.
she was like, I'm also trying to become a sales engineer. Can I just pick your brain? So I gave her all this advice. And she goes, Oh, I get why you make money. I was like, really? She's like, yeah, you break down this concept so easily. Like you understand how people fit, you know where it's going. I'm like, okay, cool. Like just more confidence to my ego. Like I need that, right?
Right.
So whatever. But she goes, so then she pulls me on to be a panelist. And then people like DM'd her afterwards and were like, who's that KJ kid? He's great. And then people started connecting with me on LinkedIn. And I went, okay, there's something here. And then she goes, as I build this community, I want you to have a podcast on it. Just grab anyone you want. Go pretty much what you did. I shortened it down. So I just found one piece of like their career or like I knew them or whatever. And I made them more shorter. That's not as long as this, or as long as we recorded rather. But very much the similar concept. Like, what are you doing now? How'd you get there? But it's professionally driven. But it's Cage's Corner. I've got like, I don't know, about 15 episodes now, I think 14, 15 episodes. Very much a project. I'm not doing it in the sense that it's something that I commit to every month. It's not something that I commit to get out. I have nobody doing this. This is all me, myself. I did radio in college, so it's natural for me to kind of have these types of conversations in more of a formulaic way. However, to that, which helps me in my job, obviously. To that point, though, I edit my own stuff. I produce my own stuff. The whole nine. And I was originally doing it with Aaliyah supporting me a little bit, but then eventually she was like, she just dissipated the community and then just decided to go be a founder of a company, which, hey, more power to her, right?
Hey, yeah, go good for her.
So I'm like, I should do this on my own. So I've turned it into kind of a pet project where I post the shows on my LinkedIn to show my brand as an individual outside of the sales engineering context that you know me as. So when you're looking, so for me, I get tons of people being like, you can boost your reach. You're really great at this. I go, unless you're going to offer me a ton of money to sit on a show, I'm not going to waste my time. I'm already HOA president. I'm already a happily married man. I do hobbies. I've got all these things. The last thing I want to do is share my responsibility with you. Right. So like you can't sell me on it. But the reason I'm doing that is it's a portfolio build. Because I've had some really awesome conversations with people that now can live in posterity. And honestly, I think it's actually benefiting the people who I recorded with more than me, which I love that for me.
That is cool.
Like I'm very much because dude, I've made it, man. Like everything's worked. You know me, dude. You've heard this before. You've seen us in real life. Like we're winners, man. We figured life out. So now I'm like, is there any way that I can just continue that momentum while also making sure that I can highlight other people in the process? And that's what the podcast has kind of become, right? And it still helps. So if people want to listen to it, because I know you've listened to an episode, it's good. It's not bad, right? It's just, I don't care to share it. I don't care to promote it. I don't care to whatever, because honestly, I would much rather just remember I had a good conversation with someone. And if I find myself in an opportunity where I think someone would benefit from it, I can now share the link.
Right. It's like an archive building. Yeah.
It's a portfolio build.
Right?
Because people in my industry, so to speak, don't necessarily do what I do on LinkedIn. Some people like to try and say like, oh, this is how to become a better sales engineer and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you become a better sales engineer by just doing the damn work. Like, come on. Like you can sit there and talk about all these sales tactics and all these things and blah, blah, blah. It's either you got it or you don't at a certain point, right? So what do? I say I post my bowling videos on LinkedIn. I post the teasers for KJ's Corner on that, or I just comment on stuff and just let my brand do that way. Because if you hear how I'm commenting on something or see how I'm commenting on something, and you go to my profile and you see the link to the podcast and you listen to the podcast, you go, well, that sounds the same. Who is this?
Right. It's like
extensions of your brand. Just extensions of your brand in little ways, right? So to me, that's what it is. But yeah, it's KJ's Corner. I release it. I have no idea when. I'm trying to go monthly, but I've just been lazy, candidly. But
maybe this will jumpstart you again.
Probably will. I'll be sitting there next week and be like, well, I just did the show with Spence. Yeah, I should probably do my own, right? But it's still one of those things. Doesn't take me very long to put it together. I really enjoy it. I've already got the skills to do it. I do my own editing of my own demo videos. Like I've just got all of the capability to just do this myself. So I just do it myself. If an episode gets 30 views, okay, cool. I know I had a good conversation with that person, right?
Exactly. And that's there forever. That's what's so cool about that.
And that's why I like things like this, because I think I feel like sometimes we have, like, I was like, I'm having such informal, good conversations. Why don't I just formalize them? That's all it
Dude,
is.
yeah. Dude, yeah, that's what I thought about too.
Like
That's
that's
kind
what
of
this we've
partly,
had this
yeah.
conversation before. It's not like we haven't had this conversation before. I remember having a conversation before you married Abby when we were sitting in my freaking apartment pool area. We've
Dude,
had
yeah.
conversations. We've
Oh.
had conversations like this before, right? But
Mhm.
we're hitting record. So to me, I think it's really, really cool. And that's just honestly why I do it. And if I
Mhm.
eventually get to a point where I've got 30, 40 episodes and I'm older and Mav goes, "What's this, Daddy?" "Oh, this is Dad doing a podcast." "What?" That's gonna be so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Like,
is.
that's
That's a
cool. Not
cool
because I
thing.
care,
Mhm.
like, but he goes, "Oh, that's what daddy does." It's like, yeah, I do a lot of these things. And then they get to learn and then they can absorb and they can say, well, I like that. I don't like that. And it's all to me, you know me, dude. I'm very intentional with where I spend my time and what I do. And
Mhm.
that's just a great way to release the whole culmination of all the skills, the presentation from the wrestling I watch, the applying discipline from bowling, the what I do from a work perspective. Because hey, if I communicate more, guess what? I can communicate more effectively in a professional context.
Mhm.
So yeah, back to Justine doing, literally saving me, truthfully. She knew who I was before she talked to me.
Yeah.
She knew
That
who I
yeah,
was.
it's almost it's hard to even calculate the value of that. Of you know what I
It's
mean?
for
Like
some
what
people it doesn't for some people it doesn't matter. For others it's everything. I'd
Mhm.
much rather lean on the people who it's everything because if you're willing to take the time and look at the stuff that I've put out there like I do for people, right?
Mhm.
And I can because when I go to your profile, we judge everyone, right? I'm very judgy, right? I just don't have that,
Everybody is
right?
if we're honest.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're honest, right? So to me, I can shape who you are. I can shape your archetype based on your LinkedIn. But if you do more, I know you're more willing to put something into your brand. And now I can actually change my perception faster because now I'm like, oh, that's different. But if it's
Mhm.
just lambasted, basic, whatever, and you go to, went to Stanford or something, I'm like, okay, nerd. Like, you know what I mean? Like I can do stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And I'm usually a very good read of character, right? So but when you start doing more things like this, and I see that, then there's two ways you can go. Someone might be an influencer. Okay, I don't care about them, right? But
Mhm.
when they're meeting in the middle, like there's this guy Matt Thomas who I follow on LinkedIn. I connected with him. He posts drum videos all the time. Him just playing
Mm.
covers,
Mhm.
and he's gotten better. Like he was dragging in the beginning, and he's gotten better and tighter. And like it's been fun to just in the DMs be like, "Hey, listen to that. That sounded pretty good, man." Like it's been fun to like watch stuff like that,
Yeah.
right? Because it's now I'm watching it through the lens of someone sharing it with people that actually aren't gonna like try and shit on it or whatever because it's LinkedIn, right? It's
Right.
it's it's
It's a
it's a
different
meta
vibe.
thing. It's like a
Yep.
very yeah,
Yep.
right?
And
But
in
to
every
me, that
social has their
of course,
characters,
what are you
to it.
going for? What's your intention? Why are
Mhm.
you doing it? To me,
Mhm.
people, like laugh at me, like, "Oh, you're on LinkedIn." It's like, well, okay, I have a house
Hey, no,
and
yeah,
two
you
cars,
own it.
and
You lean into
you
it.
know what I mean? Like, I'm just like,
It's done you plenty of favors. So
it works for
it,
me, dude. Like,
absolutely. All right, Kyle. Anything else before I let you go? I appreciate you taking the time on this lovely Friday.
yeah, love it. Friday. Well, dude, I was gonna be up anyway, man. I got two young kids. I don't go to bed till like 2 in the morning. No, dude, thank you. Honestly, thank you for the time. I think I'm glad that I feel like I probably inspired you in some way to feel confident enough to do something like this. I think it's always scary taking the first jump and taking the first plunge. So
Mhm.
kudos to you to doing that for sure. It
Yeah.
only gets better with time.
Mhm.
I think I've said every possible word of advice that I could say, so I'm gonna leave it at that.
Perfect.
Uh, and that's pretty much it, man. I mean, I know he'll put my social out there at some point. It's only
Yes,
my
it'll be in the
LinkedIn,
description.
right? You could
Yep.
do that, but otherwise, yeah, just be emotionally aware. That's it.
Be emotionally
That's
aware.
it.
I love
That's it.
that. Okay, thank you guys for tuning in. This is what I'm gonna call the Spencer Thorn Show for now until I come up with a better title. Maybe I'll just keep
Don't
it that.
don't that for you, dude. It works. It
Okay,
works. Like
you like that?
that works. I do. I
Okay,
do.
all right. I am gonna try and end this, and I think I click this.